Boy, the party of women is really covering itself in glory tonight. I mean, I don't understand why the American left falls in love with the worst people. You've got a gang-banging, human trafficking, wife-beating illegal alien, and a United States senator in a ludicrous display of energy is in El Salvador having Mai Tais and Yahtzee. I do not get it.
Now they want to be included. Like, now they want affirmative action for them. Like, that's cool.
So you
now
admit that you want universities to exclude everyone but the
No,
radical
because
left.
there's no proof that they're actually being excluded.
There's
Because if
not?
that, no, there isn't.
96% of contributions from Harvard faculty went to Democrats. What else you got?
Okay.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope all's good wherever you are. This clip you're about to watch is a wild one. I got two clips to share with you today of Scott Jennings on CNN cooking this panel of Democrats. Let's get it.
The president of El Salvador also tweeted this that I find fascinating. He says, Abredgo Garcia miraculously risen from the death camps and torture, now sipping margaritas with Senator Van Hollen in a tropical paradise of El Salvador. I mean,
That was the first thing I noticed. I was like, are they at a continental breakfast? Like, what is happening? I'm not even trying to be funny. I know.
I
The
mean,
very
it's
first thing
true.
I noticed was like, that was not what I expected.
but let's be real about what's happening here. I mean, this is propaganda, because the
That's
other
thin.
propaganda of the whole situation is that this is a hellhole. They were literally telling us the other day that it was a hellhole. You know who called it a gulag? The Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance. So I don't know. Whose word do you take?
I see these pictures tonight, and I think, boy, the party of women is really covering itself in glory tonight. I mean, I don't understand why the American left falls in love with the worst people. You've got a gang-banging, human trafficking, wife-beating illegal alien, and a United States senator in a ludicrous display of energy is in El Salvador having Mai Tais and Yahtzee. I do not get it. I do not understand why the left takes on the heroes.
The
people
part
like
of
that.
this,
I don't get it.
I think I'm
There
not
allegedly in there somewhere. I'm just wondering.
He is a Democrat and United States
I don't think
senator.
that this is an issue. I don't think
Just
this is an
saying.
issue of we know everything we need to know about this individual, right? But I do think that the idea that the administration continues to call him a terrorist and a gangbanger, knowing full well that those things are very much in dispute, is part of the story. And separately from that, as we just were talking about, the circuit court judge says it doesn't matter. He was sent to another country to be put in a prison that, let me just play for you, because I think it's a good encapsulation of what this prison is. This is what Ezra Klein said. You can see the pictures there, but let me just play what Ezra Klein has said about why this prison and sending people there is so significant for democracy and the rule of law.
The emergency is here. The crisis is now. Maybe not to you, not yet, but to others, to real people whose names we know, whose stories we know. The President of the United States is disappearing people to an El Salvadoran prison for terrorists. It is a prison that does not intend to release its inhabitants back out into the world. It is a prison where the only way out, in the words of El Salvador's Justice Minister, is in a coffin.
The El Salvadorans said that the only way out of this prison is in a coffin. I mean, when you do that, you should know pretty surely that the person you're sending there deserves to be imprisoned for life until death. I don't know.
Half of the people that they've sent there have no arrest record. So to be comfortable with the fact that those people, that is potentially the rest of their lives, you can't be cool with that. Like, that's not how you're supposed to adjudicate punishment in this country. If he is all of the things that you say he is, then let it all play out properly in the American court system. And then if you want to send them there. But I think half of the people that they're deporting, you're better off literally putting them on a raft and pushing them out into the ocean than sending them to that place.
And I didn't realize the law was only for perfect people. I didn't realize that's how we did things here. I'm not talking about people who commit actual crimes that we can prove, but if we're always putting this up against some purity test to say that, like, hey, because we think you might have done this, and again, I realize you're levying serious charges, but like, the law is not supposed to be about a purity test. It's supposed to be about what can you actually prove that someone has done.
I actually am not even all that worried about all the things that we have found out in the wake of the investigations into this guy. What I am worried about is that, and I'm going to grant you, he has a withholding order and he should not have gone to El Salvador.
And they admitted it was a mistake.
But even if you grant that, he has an adjudicated deportation order, and you have Democrat public officials falling all over themselves trying to get him back here without thinking through the next step, which is he's literally going to be deported somewhere else.
But not to
But
a
my
prison.
suspicion is when they bring him back, they're
think
going to
that-
try to keep him here.
Well,
That's the
look,
next
and
part of
I
it.
wanna
we
move
have
on.
degrees of things, right? There's a different punishment for a speeding ticket versus a different punishment for something else. So you're saying that what he has done, which is okay.
Come to the country illegally.
Okay, so he deserves
Yes.
to be in an El Salvadorian prison.
He deserves to be deported.
Okay, that's fine.
Fine,
That's
fine.
fine.
Yeah.
No one is debating
To a
that.
prison?
But to a prison.
Radical
prison.
agreement. Radical agreement, Scott Jennings.
He's right. And some of these Democrats, they think that, oh, it's due process, the rule of law, we have to follow this. And it's like you're just making yourself look like a bunch of retards. Shout out to the word retard coming back in 2025. We're allowed to use it again, apparently. And it's applicable here. Like, in no way, shape, or form is this guy going to be coming back to America and then be allowed to stay. So what is the point? He is a citizen of El Salvador, after all. Sure, he was mistakenly sent there. But your tax dollars and my tax dollars are going to this, having to bring this guy back. Is this, we sent people down there with our tax money to bring this guy back with our tax money, who is a wife beater, a criminal, and a legal immigrant. Here's Tom Homan on this exact subject.
The administration's admitted it's a mistake. All parties have admitted it's a mistake. Do you admit that it's a mistake? And is this something that should not happen again?
Look, I don't agree with the term that was a mistake. I mean, I know that was put out in the beginning, but looking at this case, there's a couple of things in play here. First of all, it's a mistake because it said he had withholding or removal. Well, the facts surrounding that withholding have changed over the years. For instance, when that decision was made on withholding, he wasn't classified as a terrorist, which he is now. And plus, the conditions of the withholding was a danger of a specific gang in El Salvador. That gang don't exist anymore in El Salvador. Matter of fact, El Salvador is one of the safest nations in the region now because of the actions of President Bukele. So the facts surrounding that decision have changed, and we believe that the withholding order is set aside now that he's a terrorist because it doesn't pertain to those designated as terrorists. He is a member of MS-13. 2 federal judges have decided that. We have a police department who documented that. ICE intelligence has documented that. The El Salvadoran government says he's an MS-13 gang member who has since been designated as a terrorist. So the entire condition around that decision have changed. The facts have changed. So we don't think the withholding is in play anymore.
Who doesn't love Tom Homan? Now let's get to them discussing Donald Trump weaponizing government. Let's go.
Well, I totally disagree with the characterization of it. I think Trump supporters and the people who put him in office would say that he's not turning the government into a weapon. He's turning it into a shield. He's shielding the American people from illegal immigration. He's shielding the American people from having their tax dollars used for ridiculous purposes. All of these things that you mentioned, you may call them weaponization, but a lot of people would say we need a shield against a lot of these bad actors and bad institutions.
But you didn't address any of the things that I actually did bring up. I mean, he's saying to American universities, you need to admit a certain number of conservatives. I'll address the universities. Or you will lose your tax-exempt status. He is saying that he signed an executive order in the White House saying, investigate 2 individuals who told the truth about the last election and criticized me publicly. That is weaponization.
Regarding the universities, first of all, he's creating, I think, a shield for the Jewish students on campus who have been the victim of horrible anti-Semitism. And he's saying to these universities, you cannot simply screen out all viewpoints that don't adhere to your anti-Western civilization
absolutely
worldview.
No one is doing that.
Absolutely they are.
No, they're not.
You and I have both been on college campuses recently.
What evidence do you have that they're
I've been on a college campus recently, and I can certainly use my eyes and ears. These are hotbeds of anti-American and anti-Western civilization activity, and everybody knows it.
What?
And there's no dissent on these campuses.
Oh, so wait, now MAGA wants DEI.
Everyone's afraid.
Now they want to be included. Like, now they want affirmative action for them. Like, that's cool.
So
now.
you admit that you want universities to exclude everyone but the radical
because
left.
there's no proof that they're actually being excluded. Because if that, no, there isn't.
96 96% of contributions from Harvard faculty went to Democrats. What else you got?
Okay, so you're talking about contribution. I'm talking about
I'm talking about what people's political
on campus,
viewpoints are.
who is teaching people. So if they
Yeah,
were such
I know.
a weapon,
I used to teach there. Believe me. I
Okay,
know.
so clearly you used to teach there, right?
Yeah, I was.
Okay.
I was treated like an exotic zoo animal. Trust me.
Oh, I'm sure.
The faculty.
Oh, I'm
the faculty
sure.
is not conservative. Believe me.
Oh, okay. So at Harvard, I just imagine all of these conservative politicians that go there. They go there because they don't feel welcome. They just go there to go there.
If you're trying to come on here tonight and argue that Harvard is a hotbed of conservatism,
I'm not.
Lord
I'm
have
just
mercy.
saying that they're not. So are we going to do the same thing at Baylor? Are we going to do the same thing at Liberty? Are we going to invite more liberal thought to those universities?
I think if public universities or any university taking public funds is violating the civil rights of Jewish students or actively screening out conservatives and conservative viewpoints, we need to have a conversation.
Or what about discriminating against people of color? Can we like keep the, because I agree that Jewish students should be safe. I agree with that. I think that I become a better debater and a smarter person when I actually get to have discourse with people like you that I don't mostly agree with on the political views. But I also get a seat at the table, and I don't get to be discriminated against, and black people and brown people and queer people also don't. So if we're going to protect one class, can we agree to protect all classes?
What university is doing that? I agree, but what university is doing that?
I just want to know what
What class of people right now on American campuses is facing the kind of pushback that Jewish students are anywhere?
We do know since the affirmative action decision that came down about 18 months ago that the number of people of color who have been admitted to institutions have decreased because that's a policy that actually ensures.
Do you include Asian students in that people of color?
Yeah, their numbers are down too.
Let me just, one of the reasons that I think this has become the topic du jour this week is because I think we've seen a lot of people who are normally pretty level-headed about this stuff raising the alarm. Let me play what Senator Lisa Murkowski, a Republican, said this week about her fear of what's going on now and of retaliation.
We are all afraid. Okay? Sworn statement. I'm oftentimes very anxious myself about using my voice because retaliation is real, and that's not right.
You know, you kind of have to let it play out because you can hear it in her voice, what she's talking about. Here's Karl Rove as well. He says, there's way too much retribution. He's talking about the Trump tenure thus far. Most of the president's revenge attempts will end badly for him. Republicans could rue the day that they set a new justification for retaliation from Democrats.
I look at who Trump has, targeted, right? Who he's taken on in the last 2 months. I see Wall Street. I see Harvard, the most elite institution in America. I see gangbangers, and I see a man who may or may not be part of MS-13, but whose wife has accused him multiple times of beating her up, including while she was holding her child. And I see those people as the enemies of Trump that he has successfully attacked. We just had the Passover Seder, and there's a song in Passover called Dayenu, which means it would have been enough. And that's kind of how I feel about this list. Like, it would have been enough if Trump had only taken on Wall Street. It would have been enough if he had only taken on the gangbangers. It would have been enough if he had only started reshoring manufacturing. If he had only gotten rid of this guy who beat his wife up, which by the way is a deportable offense. And yet he's done all of these things. And I think most Americans look at that and they say, not that he's weaponizing things, but that he is fighting our fights for us. CNN this morning had a poll. 56% of Americans want every single illegal alien deported. 11 million illegal aliens deported, 56%. It's up from 38% in 2016. Trump is winning this, and he's winning it because people feel like he is fighting for them. The real emergency is that the American people are getting what they want. I think you're making an interesting point that if Trump had focused on just those things, maybe everybody would have said it was enough. But actually, he's doing a lot of other things too.
You think the American people care about Harvard?
Like
yes.
They care
yes.
deeply.
They
but why?
hate Harvard.
Yeah, they hate it because they hate. It's funny because they admire wealth at the same time they hate it.
Harvard
That's what's hilarious about that.
$60 billion endowment, and they're threatening to kill animals because we won't give them $2 billion.
But this is not about Harvard,
It really
obviously.
is.
It's not about Harvard.
Yeah, I'm just
saying,
saying, like,
I'm just saying, like, the idea, I think the big picture here, and I think this is why there's so much alarm among some of these people that I just mentioned, is that it's not just about this one institution. It's using the one institution as a vehicle to attack the idea of higher education that is not beholden to political interests.
And it's also about the National African American Museum. It's about so many other things. It's like, it's never enough for them. It's like, it can't just stop with, okay, I want to do this one thing. It's always a test case. It's always a, how far can I get? Because if I can get far enough, then I know I can come after HBCUs.
Stop talking about slavery.
Exactly.
And paint over the Black Lives Matter.
Thank you. They know it's always another line to go. So it's like, yeah.
Each thing we bring up, you guys keep saying, it's not about that. It's not about that. It's not about that.
Because they're all test cases to do something else worse.
Absolutely ridiculous. The deportation of this El Salvador man has me so baffled, guys. You have no idea why they want this guy back. This is not the hill you want to plant your flag on. Like, you don't want to die on this hill. All of the country voted for Trump because of the border. Not all of the country, but the majority of the people that voted for Trump, they voted for Trump, 1, the border, and 2, the economy. And now the Democrats are going to put themselves in opposition to that. What a bunch of morons. I was listening to James Carville talk about this. And James Carville, he's been wrong about most things, been right about one thing, and he's made a career out of it. But he was going off on the fact that the Democrats are all talking about this illegal immigrant that beat his wife. And he was saying, this is not the fight you want. This is not the guy you want to fight for. And as much as I dislike James Carville and I disagree with him politically, he was right here. This is not it. This is not it. But again, I want them to keep going this way. I want AOC to be their next presidential candidate. That just guarantees me another 8 years of JD Vance after Trump. I hope you guys loved the video. If you did, smash that thumbs up button for your boy. Consider subscribing to the channel. Help a girl. Catch you in the next one. Peace out, everybody.